Up next on History Now, the Hausa city-states. Who were they, and why were these people so important to the history of Africa? We are joined today by Dr. Anonymous, an anonymous doctor who studies the history of Central Africa. Hi, Doctor.
Hi, Liam.
So the belief is that Bejada came from Baghdad, Iraq's capital city. Bejada was thought to be a person who created these city-states, and apparently he was a prince. He walked all the way from the city of Dura, where he went on a venture to slay a snake for the queen's daughter. Doctor, is any of this true?
So no, that is just a legend created in the 1500s, and it is probably not true. There might have been a person named Bayajida who came on this migration from the southern Sahara. The exact origins of the city-states were very, how do I phrase this, close to nothing. We only know that they probably migrated from a different area.
So they came from the Sahara?
Maybe. Another theory suggests that these people might have came from the western shore of Lake Chad.
So why did they migrate?
There is a multitude of reasons, one being that they abandoned their land after it became desert. If they came from Lake Chad, then it was probably because of the lake drying up due to climate change.
Thanks, Doctor. Up next, we have trade and why it is so important for these people, and how they became so rich through trade. Up next on History Now.
Budweiser commercial featuring the crew cut.
Where there's life, there's fun. At a concert or a show, in your own backyard, wherever you go. Budweiser beer is for folks who know where there's life, there's Budweiser.
Welcome back to History Now, where we are talking about the Hausa city-states. Their trade was the most important part of their society, right, Doctor?
Yes, while other African villages were not involved with trade, the Hausa city-states controlled much of the trade route between Egypt and the East Africa to the West Africa, where they could ship things out to the British or French.
When were the city-states created, just so that we could get a feel for it?
They were created in the early 1000s and all the way into the very early 1900s. In 1903, they were taken over by the British Empire. Modern day, these cities were in northern Nigeria. These cities still exist.
Wow, so trade was the reason for these cities' existence.
Yes, the mix of different cultures and beliefs created these large urban centers.
So what did they trade for?
Well, they traded for slaves, gold, and other valuable resources. The Hausa city-states were this midpoint between the trade route, also supplying water, food, and shelter.
I know there were several city-states. Which one was the most notable in the trade?
The most notable ones are the two largest, Kano and Katsina, were the largest of the city-states. But another city-state, the Zazao, were known as a large hub for slaves.
So how are they ruled?
So actually, they never had a central power like the White House or the British Parliament. They were just ruled independently of each other.
Wow, so they just coincided with each other?
Yes.
Thank you, Doctor, for your time.
Thank you.
Next up on History Now, the British Empire.